Welcome to Research Perch from the Massage Therapy Foundation. Short, practical insights into massage therapy research and how it can benefit your practice.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adrienne Asta. I'm the Community Service Chairperson for the Massage Therapy Foundation's Community Service Grant Review Committee. Each year, the Massage Therapy Foundation awards 4 grants to projects that serve populations that otherwise wouldn't be served with massage therapy. And today I have the absolute privilege of introducing you to Chanda Santana, who is a recipient of one of our grants from last year's cycle. Chanda has amazing accolades, and I will let you, Chanda, introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background. But I wanted to say that I've been on the Community Service Committee since 2007, and we've seen a myriad and a spectrum of requests come in to fund really important projects. And the She Retreats project, which you and Divas Who Win have presented to us, was hands down the committee's favorite. So I would love for you to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background, and I would love to hear a little bit about your origin story. What Divas Who Win, what was your purpose for starting this company and organization?
Absolutely. So thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to sit and gather together with your community today. So my name is Chanda Santana, and I am the founder and director of Divas Who Win Freedom Center. So Divas Who Win Freedom Center, we are what's called a recovery community organization, an RCO. So it means that we are peer-led, peer-founded, peer-governed space for individuals who are overcoming substance use disorders. And these RCOs are spread throughout the United States. And here in Georgia, there's about 33 of those organizations. However, our particular organization actually has a dual mission. So we not only serve women who are overcoming substance use disorders, we also serve women who are coming out of the sex trade, may still be in the sex trade, or sex trafficking survivors. So what we believe in most is person-centered and person-directed care. And we also believe in multiple pathways of healing. So basically, in a nutshell, we are considered somewhat of a day center. We're here from 9 to 5 in terms of our full-time staff, and then we do pull evening hours for some of our support groups. But we're here Monday through Friday, and then 1 or 2 Saturdays per month based on events. So a woman can engage in our services. So we do serve, we are gender specific. Women are those who identify as women. And we have about 10% of our services that are that are co-ed. So if a woman walks into our building, she will have a plethora of ways to engage with us. So all of our services are free. So she may have a peer coach, someone that's just tracking along her redemption story or her recovery journey. We have a work readiness lab and a soft skills training program here. Women can come and get help building their resumes and look for jobs and print what they need on resume paper. They can visit our boutique that's in-house, that's free clothing to get them ready for job interviews or court cases. They can travel upstairs into our art room and create. You know, we do believe something a dear friend of mine shared once is that some trauma has no words. And so as a trauma survivor myself, I completely understand that. So some women go upstairs and just create in the art lab. And then, of course, in terms of this She Retreats program, we have a massage space, and it's really a sacred space here in the building where a woman gets to have the touch and the healing power through massage, and she gets to experience that in a trauma-informed way, and she gets to experience that not owing anybody anything, you know, and it can be part of her healing journey. So that room is just a beautiful space here in the building. We have our Field of Dreams room, which is where I'm sitting at today. We have a conference table, our interns, our teams, our community members gather here. And then we have the living room, which is where we gather for our small groups. We have faith-based meetings, we have dual diagnosis meetings, we have recovery meetings. So the goal of this organization, we know that every woman we meet is going to be at a different place in her journey. Some may not have the level of readiness yet to go check into a rehab per se, or go to a safe house. So we just try to create innovative ways to connect with women. And it's up to them where they want to travel in terms of our programming through this organization.
So how does somebody find you?
So we are now 3.5 years old here in our community. Much of it has been built word of mouth, but a large population of women who know who we are and what we do and who we serve, they are residents in local, some people call them halfway houses, but recovery homes, where there are other women who are trying to maintain sobriety and live in a community setting. And so we've built partnerships over the years. So our local community service board, which would be like a crisis unit, and the mental health services centers, we're connected with them. We're connected through our courts here in Athens, Georgia, accountability, DUI courts. We're connected through some of the high schools. Just in a lot of ways. Athens, fortunately for us, is a very strong recovery-oriented community. So we've really built what we've built up to now just through word of mouth, and women appreciating that there's a place and a model created that's just for us, that they can come and share a little bit deeper than they can in traditional circles of recovery.
Perfect. So let us know a little bit about how your project, how the massage project is going. You touched a little bit about it on, within the summary of what Divas Who Win Freedom Center does. Can you speak a little bit more specifically to the massage program, and how is it going? Have you heard any feedback from the project?
Yes, so the massage program is kind of a feather in our cap, so to speak. It is definitely the whipped cream and the cherry on the sundae. Just when, we have a systematic way in which we tour people through our building. So the massage room is room number 4, I believe. Just when, community members are jaw dropping, like, oh, it's such a beautiful space. Oh, you offer this, you offer that. And then by the time they are introduced to the massage room, they just can't believe that we offer that. So the way that we connect women to massage is through some of the local recovery homes. During the intake process, a woman is given a gift certificate, even though, it just says free massage. There's no value monetarily placed on it. And it's a way in which, so you tell a woman who's, maybe she just got out of a police car and now she's mandated to complete a 6-month program, and maybe she's in a new town. So while she's being told all the ways in which she will be dismissed from said program if she fails a drug test, if she sneaks somebody in, all the things, the way to turn that conversation around and by the way, here is a voucher to go and get a free massage at this local RCO, which they don't know what that is. And then when a woman walks into the building, to be then introduced to a team of her own peers that run this center. And so it's great. So we incorporate a peer check-in with the massage. So a woman comes in, she tours the building. We have a certain tool that we use that helps her to check in on her own wellness, because we are very much person-centered, self-directed care. And then she gets the massage, and then at the end, she's able to see, did anything change for her? Did her stress level go down? Did her craving level decrease? Did she feel more connected to her community? So some of the tools that we use in conjunction with the massage go great, but we are currently trying to recruit volunteer massage therapists here in our community. because we will book out that Monday roster 5 or 6 weeks ahead of time because, you know, there's a limited amount of slots. So in terms of the community, they love, you know, this service. It's a way for us to engage in a non-traditional way and just to expose a woman to wellness in a different way that maybe she's not had a healthy experience previously, especially if she is a woman who's worked in the trade, and you know the massage that she's accustomed to is very different, you know, than what is offered here. So it is one of our flagship programs.
Phenomenal. Is there any special training that the massage therapists go through in order to be prepared for this? Because this might be a population that they might not have worked with before.
Right. So the trauma-informed way in which we engage our peers, our lead therapist here, she is also a woman who's in long-term recovery, and she's a survivor of the sex trade. So because she's intimately acquainted with the dark side, you know, of massage, and this is her passion, she has a model that she uses to train the volunteers that come on board. They shadow her for a day, and then she has like a Q&A process of kind of, we have our things we don't do sort of list. Like the massage therapists don't dive into the women's life. You know, we don't ask any questions or anything like that. They leave that for the peer coaches to do. They are just there to provide the massage and to offer it in a trauma-informed way. So there is a little bit of a learning curve there, and we've had experiences where there's been a massage therapist or two that just didn't fit. You know, they were therapists who thought that they were going to save people or just went too far, you know. And so we're learning, you know, as this program is developing, we are learning and perfecting the process of onboarding the right person into this role.
Excellent. Are you looking to expand massage services in any way?
We are. So we would like to offer the services more than one day out of the week, which is what the current schedule is. So our current ask in our community is we are asking volunteer therapists to donate 2 hours a month to the organization, just to be part of something bigger, you know, than themselves. And we think that if we can build to a steady team of 10 therapists, that will allow us to open up maybe 2 additional half days. So ideally, a year from now, we would love to have services going Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here in our center.
Are you seeing an increase of success in the women who seek your services since introducing the massage therapy?
So because we are a RCO, Recovery Community Organization, the way in which we track success is just simply engagement. And we do have some programs that we do track reincarceration or reentry into the sex trade. But for us, the important part is we have a woman who, if we have a woman who came here to get massage January of 2019, and we also booked this same woman last month here for massage, that's success to us, because the opposite of addiction equals connection. And so that's what we're going for. Ideally, yes, we love everyone to thrive in sobriety. We love everyone to thrive in an abstinence-based program as well. But for the higher goal is staying connected. So we do have women. We have women who were early in their recovery who came for services in January of 2019. And now these women have earned a credential in the field of recovery and are working at one of our partnering agencies. So now they come here no longer as a peer needing the service, but a peer who's engaged in the work. So to fight compassion fatigue, they engage in service. So that's beautiful to see a woman 2.5 years into her journey who's now on the service side of things, and she's still connecting with us in that way.
Fantastic. I like this, what you said about the opposite of addiction is connection.
Mm-hmm.
So has there been, do you see an opportunity to expand either massage or other body work outside of your Freedom Center? Do you see it going further into the community besides just at your location?
So our hope is, where we're starting right now is with other RCOs. We'd like to replicate this model through other RCOs, you know, throughout the state of Georgia, who may already employ peers there, you know, peers who are injured. So I guess something really important that I didn't say in terms of my credential is that I'm a woman in long-term recovery. And so I entered into this work through my own personal journey. 24 years ago, I left the sex trade. 15 years ago, I became liberated from a dependence on all drugs and alcohol. And then 4 years ago, I had a 17-year-old daughter who was rescued by the FBI from a family of sex traffickers. So my personal investment into this work is trifold. And one thing that I've learned, I've done this work for years, was forming this organization before I ever had a daughter who was trafficked. And what I've learned when I went away to rehab, that was my pathway to healing, was a rehab and faith. And when I went away, I began working at that rehab for the last 11 years up until I started Divas. And so the thread of sexual trauma, the thread of sex work is so interwoven, and there's so many intersections into addiction. And what happens for any person who is trying to overcome any of those things, that isolated feeling of I'm in it by myself, I'm in it alone, I can never climb this far out of the pit. So what I love about RCOs is RCOs are run by individuals who are overcoming the disease of addiction, who are overcoming the various traumas. And so what I think about the power of massage being integrated into these systems of care that are already functioning, it just really does offer such a great wraparound piece. And if a woman were to have so we don't use the word relapse, we use the word setback. If a woman has a setback and then on her birthday gets this phone reminder that she had a massage this time last year and we want to invite her back in, it's just another point of re-entry for a person who really needs to address some core wellness areas. So that's the long answer to your question. I would love for massage to find its way out into other modules in our community that are doing social service work. And for us, the lowest hanging fruit right now is other RCO partnerships.
What kind of demographics do you see in the women who come to seek your services?
So age range is anywhere from 18 to 60, but I would say the 30 to 42 is kind of the mainstay when I look at our data, and we track that data on a monthly basis. But I think it's important to just mention here, there very much is racial disparity in our justice system. So what happens, so we serve 13% African-American women. I want to say it's like 85 Caucasian, then we've got maybe 2% Asian, and then the rest, the other 4 or 5% Latina. So what happens, I mentioned earlier that most of the women that we serve are living in recovery houses, halfway houses. And 50% of those women, a judge placed them there. These women have been locked up on drug charges of some sort, whether they were trafficking drugs or intoxicated DUI, there were drugs involved. And so the sad part about it is women of color are statistically are handed a prison sentence and not handed a mandation of a year to a recovery home. So it took us like that first kind of 18 months. I kept saying to the women that I work with, I kept saying, there are Black women smoking crack in this community. So why are we struggling so hard to get them through the doors? And then just with the research, because my previous experience was away at a rehab, not in community. So now that I'm back here in community and I'm listening to the stories, when we do have a woman of color and I ask her, how did you get your recovery? 9 times out of 10, she found her recovery in prison. So that just inspires me as a founder, as an executive director, as a woman of color, as a woman that has 5 Black sons and 1 Black daughter, to make inroads and educate, because in communities of color, there's going to be a little bit more resistance towards certain models of recovery because we don't trust it, because our Uncle Joe didn't travel that road into his recovery and we don't even know about it. And then we have the judicial system that may be leaning a different direction. So that greatly impacts our demographic in terms of the race and ethnicity that comes are those who are afforded the opportunity for recovery. So that's what we love about being an RCO. There are no barriers. You don't have to have a voucher to come here. It's not agency to agency. You can walk from across the street at Salvation Army and just come right on through the door, and you can tell me your name is Pink Ostrich, and that's what we're going to put on the data sheet, and we're going to deliver every service that we can in this building to that individual.
You have shared your story with us when, I'm really interested about your motivation to create Divas Who Win Freedom Center, because it just seems like it's like you had said, such a hard hill to climb.
Mm-hmm.
What motivated you? What was it inside you that said, we need this center, we need this place where people can come and feel supported and connected, versus somebody else who would have just given up?
Right. For me, it was the 11 years that I spent working at my old rehab. Obviously that program worked. I was the evidence that it worked. But what I would see is women, the women who came through, that was a 12-month intense treatment program. The women that came through that program and relocated their lives to that community, became reunified with their children, had the support system of this rehab for 2 or 3 years with their kids, and then maybe eventually became married or settled down there. Amazing success rates. I mean, amazing. But what I began to take notice of was that the woman who came through that program 2 times, then 3 times, and possibly 4 times or more in that stretch of 11 years, these were women who came and did well there, but when they were ready to go back to their prospective communities, 6 months in, it began to fall apart. And a lot of times they didn't have the workforce development that they needed. Out there at the rehab, they could work at McDonald's and they didn't understand what the true cost of daycare was, because we shielded them from that. We transported them. If their children were sick, we took the kids to the doctor. So when they met real life on real life's terms, there were so many gaps there. And I just watched these women, some didn't make it back through. I watched obituary pages fill with women who had overdosed or had a DUI incident and couldn't come back from it. And I thought, as beautiful as this sanctuary space out here in this zip code is, I wanted there to be an opportunity for women in community to get well. Women who might not choose the faith path, women who didn't have the ability to if they were still hanging on to the 2 children they had, they didn't have anybody to watch their children while they went away, so I wanted to try to intercept women on those journeys by being a beacon of light on a hill here in our own community, and where women got to choose. They got to choose how ready they were, or if they were ready at one point and had a setback, they knew that they were part of this Divas community and they could just come back through the door. They didn't have to stay out there using for 3 more years. They didn't have to carry the shame and the stigma, like when they went back to their rehab of, well, you used to be staff here and you knew better, and how did you do that? And then they have to just arrest their life on such a large degree and go back in. Most women just didn't want to do that, and so here the door just swings both ways. You can come through and back out and back in however you want. And that's really why RCOs were created, because data showed that if you can keep the connection with a woman, sober or not, and have a various amount of ways to engage, she's going to find sobriety faster, quicker, deeper, wider, and so that was my hope. I just wanted to bring something back. I thought that I was not chosen, but so full of grace and mercy over my life that I had that opportunity to go away and find my healing. And I just wanted to bring it to the community and give women the opportunity to become their own storyteller. These women had so many stories, and I thought there's so many folks that are still wounded in our communities, that person's story is going to help heal. And we just wanted to create a space where that could happen.
Chanda Santana, you are a beacon of light. We appreciate your time at the Massage Therapy Foundation. Congratulations on winning the grant last year. And thank you. Just thank you for the work that you're doing. We are absolutely privileged and honored to know you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity through this funding to offer these services, and today to just get the message of hope around recovery out there into communities. So I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
So this is our She Retreat Center, where we offer free massage to our peers here in community. And we found this to be our most popular room in the house. It's such a pampering deed that the women receive, and they're coming out of traumatic situations and not accustomed to having that care. So from a mental health standpoint, it releases so much oxytocin to the brain and detoxes the body for those who may be in early recovery, and just does something so wonderful for the heart of a woman who may have been abused or trafficked or having this substance use disorder. For her to have someone dedicate an hour to just love on her through the gift of massage is pretty powerful.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider donating to the Massage Therapy Foundation so that we can continue to bring you this and many other resources to increase your knowledge and improve your practice. Thank you.